On the shore of a wide, peaceful sea was a small village where children built sand castles every summer. The waves would gently wash them away each evening, and the children would return the next morning to build new ones, laughing and playing under the bright sun. Among the children was a boy named Nico. Every day, Nico built sand castles more intricate than anyone else. His towers stretched high with bridges, moats, and tiny windows carved with seashells. But every night, no matter how carefully he built, the waves would come and carry his castle away. While most children accepted the sea's rhythm, Nico became frustrated. "Why can't my castle stay?" he sighed one evening, sitting by the shore as the waves erased his day's work. As the moon rose and the stars appeared, a soft voice drifted over the breeze. "Because castles built on sand are meant to be temporary." Nico looked around and saw no one. But then, from the foam of the waves, a shimmering figure emerged, a woman with flowing robes like seaweed and hair like silver threads. "Who? Who are you?" Nico asked, eyes wide. "I am Marin, the spirit of the sea," she answered gently. "I've watched your castles rise and fall, and I hear your wish." "I want my castle to stay forever," Nico said softly. "Is that so wrong?" Marin smiled kindly. "Not wrong, but perhaps you do not yet understand the nature of the sea, or of building." She knelt beside him, her fingertips touching the wet sand. "Would you like to learn how to build a castle that never falls?" Nico nodded eagerly. "Very well," Marin said, "but you must first pass 3 lessons." The waves shimmered and parted, revealing a hidden path of dry sand that led far from the shore. Nico followed Marin, and soon they reached the first lesson, a great wall of fragile sand towers. "Lesson 1," Marin said, "strength lies not only in height, but in balance." She showed him how the tall towers collapsed under their own weight, but stood firmly when built with wide bases and steady foundations. Together, they practiced stacking layers of sand carefully, packing each level firmly before adding the next. Next, they came to the second lesson, a shallow pool where waves gently lapped at a small sand sculpture. "Lesson 2," Marin continued, "nothing stands forever without flexibility." She demonstrated how sand mixed with water could bend and shift, absorbing the waves without falling. You must build knowing that change will come, and your work must accept it. For the third lesson, they reached a quiet cove where crabs scuttled and tiny birds danced along the shore. "Lesson 3," Marin whispered, "the greatest creations are meant to be shared, not kept." She encouraged Nico to invite the creatures to add their touches, shells, pebbles, bits of driftwood. The castle became more beautiful as many hands and claws contributed. When morning returned, Marin led Nico back to the main beach. "Now," she said, "you may build your castle." With care, Nico shaped his grandest creation yet. He built wide, steady towers, allowed the waves to smooth the edges, and invited other children and creatures to add their decorations. As night fell, the waves came as always, but this time they didn't destroy the castle. Instead, they gently kissed its sides and flowed around it, leaving it standing. Nico's eyes shone with amazement. "How did it stay?" he asked. Marin smiled. "Because you built not to resist the sea, but to live with it. Though the castle still weathered over time, parts of it always remained, and every day the children gathered to build upon it, making it grander, turning it into a living creation that grew with each tide. From that day forward, Nico no longer wished for his castle to stay untouched, but for it to grow and change with each passing day. And as the children listening to Nico's story closed their eyes, they dreamed of castles that danced with the waves, strong not because they resisted change, but because they embraced it.